Hi friend, you saw the title, so let's get into it. First, let's recap my 2023 goals. So number 1, to stay under a $2,500 a month budget. Number 2, to reconcile said budget by the 5th of the month every month. Number 3, to invest $99,000. So you already saw the title, so you know I failed, but let's dive into what does that actually mean. So for my first goal, I wanted to stay under a $2,500 a month budget, which would be about $30,000 for the year. So if you saw my November video, then you know that that did not happen. And there I go into all the details about those numbers and what actually happened this year. But at the top line, I spent a total, and today is December 26th, but so far I've spent a total of $79,173.69. So well over my budget. But if I take out my spending on travel, then I'm at $46,959.84, which again is still over that $30,000 goal. However, even within that $47,000-ish, about $4,000 went to taxes. So really I shouldn't be including that in my spending numbers. But basically my tax situation of 2022 was just really chaotic, and so I ended up owing some taxes. And then I also moved out of my parents' house, and so that was another pretty penny. And then also I was paying for a financial advisor, which I feel like every video I'm like, I don't know if I'll continue, and I think I actually will not continue. So that was also a pretty penny. So that's about $10,000 right there across those 3 categories that I won't be spending in the future. And so that brings that total number minus travel down to about $37,000. But even then, that's still over my $30,000 goal. But my goal for 2023 as a whole was just to see how much I'm spending. Is a $2,500 a month budget actually realistic or not? I would say it is realistic if I don't include travel and if I'm a little more disciplined about my spending. So TBD, I'm not jumping to increase my retirement planning numbers just yet because I do think some things were an anomaly. But then again, maybe in like 2 or 3 years, I'm like, okay, every year there's some sort of an anomaly that I don't account for. And so I will have to increase the budget. But for right now, I'm still planning for about $2,500 a month in retirement. So yeah. But overall, I mean, what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. And so now I know or have a better idea of how much I'm actually spending versus just having some number off the top of my head when I'm planning for retirement. When I'm planning for retirement or when I'm planning for a job change, potentially. So that's that. The biggest categories that I spent money on are rent, other, which was mostly my taxes, and then snowboarding, and then restaurants. And then you might be like, Maria, what are some of these other crazy numbers? And you see this $18,000 spent on travel group trip. You can check out my December and my November videos where I talk about that in more depth. Another crazy number, again, travel, $12,000 spent, or almost $13,000. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy snowboarding. A lot of this travel is for snowboarding, but some of it's not. It is what it is. I enjoy travel. I enjoy snowboarding. I'm going to spend money on them. Those are just some areas where I spent quite a pretty penny. My second goal was to reconcile my budget by the 5th of the month every month. And so long story short, I did not hit that. I only did 5 months, and you can check out those videos here. But my goal for 2024 will be to do 6 months. So I've done all my transactions and have all the numbers across the whole year. Obviously, I just showed you some annual numbers, but I did not actually reconcile it month by month. It's definitely a habit to develop. I think I'm realizing I definitely need a day where I have more admin type things done. You know, adulting 201, you need an admin day. So that's where I'm at, but it's a learning. And then my last goal was to invest $99,000. And so I will say, shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you land among the stars. Right? Or shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you land among the moon. The moon is closer than the stars, right? I think so. So anyways, I did not hit this goal either. However, I did exceed what I thought I could, which is great. My total money invested for 2023 was $60,760, which that is a lot. So, And I thought I could do 50. I knew 50 was realistic based on my income and everything going on. The breakdown of that $60,000 invested is $22,500 in my 401k, $6,470 in my IRA. Robinhood, I invested $250, so it's just $5 a week every Wednesday, and there have been 50 Wednesdays so far. There's one more tomorrow. I don't know. And then Vanguard, I invested $12,733. And this is money kind of like long-term savings, not necessarily meant for retirement, but it's for like a house or a wedding or whatever that's very far into the future. And then Apex, which is my financial advisor's brokerage company, I invested a total of $38,807. However, $20,000 of that was from my 2022 income that I had meant to invest in 2022, but then I forgot kind of. So I invested it in 2023. But what I would count actually is the $18,807 for a total of $60,760. And so that's 2/3 towards my goal of $99,000. I think that's pretty good. And it's $10,000 over what I thought I could do. So I think that also is pretty good. But did I actually invest $99,000 for the year? No, I did not. But $6,000 is a lot. It's cool at the end of the year to see progress, because in the day-to-day, I'm not thinking of like the number accumulating. I just see, oh, $1,000 left my account. So it's fun to see the total number. And so that is a recap of my 2023 financial goals. I would love to hear your financial goals for 2023, if you set any, and how you stacked up against them. But I'll be posting a video about my 2024 financial goals. And I have a different approach towards my financial goals for 2024, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.